Caitlin Clark is the quintessential women's basketball icon of her era. Ultimately, she is poised to be recognized as the quintessential women's basketball figure in history. Throughout her tenure in the NCAA, Clark shattered numerous records and garnered widespread acclaim. She continued to break several records during her inaugural year in the WNBA, culminating in her receipt of the Rookie of the Year award. However, the welcome she received upon entering the league has not mirrored the enthusiastic reception she experienced in collegiate basketball. In an episode of the All the Smoke podcast, former Golden State Warriors player Matt Barnes defended the treatment that Clark has received from the league and her contemporaries. Caitlin Clark merits all the accolades. I perceive she faced considerable criticism and skepticism upon entering the league, Barnes articulated. She had to earn her place and encountered significant challenges early in the season. Barnes elaborated, in the Time article, Caitlin clearly acknowledged the honor but was also quick to pay tribute to the black women of the WNBA's past who facilitated her journey. Thus, Caitlin has fulfilled all expectations and faced criticism at every juncture. Barnes contends that the WNBA is squandering its potential due to Clark's popularity. The WNBA possesses a golden opportunity represented by Clark, yet has done everything to undermine the momentum and attention she has generated for this sport, Barnes emphasized. The former Warriors wing concluded, Caitlin has introduced a wealth of new opportunities, attracted substantial attention, and increased revenue for the league. Therefore, instead of diminishing the significance of her contributions, embrace this moment. Capitalize on this moment, and do all you can to demonstrate to the fanbase why they should have been invested prior to Clark's arrival. Some have audaciously suggested that Clark could become the Michael Jordan of her discipline. Currently, it appears that Barnes doubts the WNBA's ability to adequately leverage the presence of a talent of her caliber. Basketball standout Caitlin Clark has shared insights about her mother's perspective on her achievements. The Indiana Fever athlete revealed details during an episode of the New Heights podcast on Thursday with co-hosts Jason and Travis Kelce. Clark reflected on her upbringing and the evolution of her basketball journey, starting from when she was approached by colleges at the young age of 13 to her recent recognition as Time Magazine's 2024 Athlete of the Year. After the Kelce brothers introduced Clark, they suspected they had omitted one of the Rookie of the Year's numerous accolades, to which she humorously responded that the brothers might have fabricated some. Travis initiated the discussion by inquiring of the former University of Iowa athlete about which achievement she valued the most. The interviewee opted to reference what she believed her mother would express. I would provide the response my mother would likely give, possibly academic All-American. She took pride in my academic success during my college years, she articulated to the podcast hosts. The Academic All-American initiative specifically recognizes collegiate athletes who excel both in their athletic pursuits and in their academic performance as reflected in their grades. They haven't featured many women on the cover, so it is somewhat significant for women's athletics, she continued. In addition to her recognition from Time, the Indiana Fever athlete was also awarded Female Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press at the close of December 2024. A collective of 74 sports journalists affiliated with the Associated Press cast votes for the title. Clark secured 35 votes, Olympic gymnast Simone Biles followed with 25, and boxer Emaine Califf garnered 4 votes. Caitlin Clark has at last made her appearance on the New Heights podcast, with host Jason Kelce disclosing that she's the most sought-after guest in the history of our show. The star point guard of the Indiana Fever has enjoyed a remarkable inaugural season in the WNBA, earning the Rookie of the Year accolade and breaking numerous records. Clark now holds the mark for the highest number of assists in a single season as well as the most points scored by a rookie. Moreover, she became the fastest player to reach 100 three-pointers. The 22-year-old's rapid transformation from collegiate basketball to Time Magazine's Female Athlete of the Year signifies her trajectory towards unparalleled success. NFL icons Jason and Travis Kelce expressed their enthusiasm in welcoming the basketball sensation to their podcast, New Heights. During his introduction, Jason commended Clark as the most anticipated guest, highlighting her extensive accomplishments over the preceding year. He stated, "Alrighty, our guest today is a 6-foot guard from the University of Iowa, the NCAA all-time Division I scoring leader, the first selection of the WNBA draft, the WNBA assist leader, an all-star, and the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year. She's the most requested guest in the history of our show and the Time Magazine Athlete of the Year, Miss Caitlin Clark." Clark openly admitted to her general disinterest in many aspects of life, yet she made an exception for the podcast, asserting it was at the top of my list. This reply elicited laughter from Travis, who remarked, "We made it, Jason. Attaining the status of most coveted New Heights guest is a notable achievement for Clark, particularly given the distinguished lineup of celebrities that have appeared on the show, including NFL luminaries Rob Gronkowski, Shannon Sharpe, and Patrick Mahomes, along with global icon Arnold Schwarzenegger. Clark also acknowledged her steadfast allegiance to the Kansas City Chiefs kingdom and identified Mahomes and Kelce as two of her preferred players from the current Super Bowl champions. The 22-year-old further expressed admiration for Kelce's contributions to the team's ongoing successes and attributed her passion for the Chiefs to her father's influence. Clark remarked, "My father was an ardent Chiefs supporter during my upbringing, which leads people to assume that I am merely a bandwagon Chiefs fan. I assure you, I was a fan before Patrick and Travis. We were ride or dies, so we have always been dedicated supporters. Now, clearly, the team's accomplishments have made the experience much more enjoyable for us." Kicking off the new year with a guest appearance on the widely acclaimed podcast New Heights, WNBA Rookie of the Year and All-Star Caitlin Clark joined Travis and Jason Kelce to discuss the current dynamics of college athletics. The Iowa legend and NCAA all-time leading scorer shared insights regarding her personal NIL journey and how the landscape has significantly transformed for student athletes. A pioneering figure in this domain during her tenure at Iowa, both on the court and beyond, Clark established historic partnerships with prominent brands such as Nike, State Farm, Panini, and Gatorade, securing her status as one of the most marketable athletes globally. However, as a first-generation NIL athlete in college, Clark encountered the distinctive challenge of navigating this uncharted territory with minimal structure or oversight from the NCAA. It emerged as a concept after my freshman year, and it felt somewhat peculiar because everyone was asking, "Okay, so what is it?" She conveyed to the Kelce brothers. Navigating the NCAA was complicated. They lack rules about many matters now, so it was largely about understanding, what are we permitted to do? What are we prohibited from doing? We were also pioneers, so we were figuring things out as we progressed. I grew up admiring Candace Parker and the athletes who preceded me, and to receive such recognition is exceptionally meaningful. I am grateful, Clark stated to the outlet after her victory. This year has been remarkable for women's basketball and women's sports. Caitlin Clark articulated her rationale for declining Notre Dame, as her decision to attend Iowa State has unequivocally yielded positive results. The Indiana Fever prodigy has made an impressive impact in the WNBA, earning the league's Rookie of the Year accolade after a debut season that captivated audiences and garnered praise for both her on-court performances and off-court influence on the sport. However, Clark's ascent would not have been feasible without her 4 years at Iowa State, where she was named the AP Player of the Year in consecutive seasons and became the NCAA Division I all-time scoring leader with a total of 3,951 points. There is no question that Clark made an appropriate choice. However, it was still a precarious one considering that Notre Dame had recently secured the NCAA Division I championship 2 years prior to her college enrollment. During an appearance on the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce, Clark articulated that her decision was fundamentally influenced by her strong familial ties. As I evaluated my options, I recognized my desire to remain in the Midwest. I am oriented towards family and wish to stay in relative proximity to home, which narrowed my choices, Clark stated. I explored Oregon, Texas, and several other institutions. I appreciated those places, but felt they were too distant. Subsequently, I visited Notre Dame multiple times. I found it captivating, and as a child, attending Notre Dame was a dream. It possesses a strong tradition and has produced numerous remarkable athletes across various sports. However, I sensed an instinctive feeling that it was not meant for me. Hence, I chose Iowa. Iowa had a commendable history in women's basketball prior to my arrival, having reached the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, but it hadn't achieved Final Four status since 1992. I aspired to attend an institution that had strong capabilities but hadn't reached blue blood status for a considerable amount of time, allowing me the opportunity to contribute to their resurgence. The distance was ideal. My parents couldn't simply drop in, yet I could return home occasionally. Everything seemed to align, and I suppose my choice has proven beneficial. Clark completed her entire collegiate career with the Hawkeyes, establishing herself as the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history for both male and female divisions. Additionally, during her time at Iowa, she began a relationship with Connor McCaffrey, a fellow Hawkeyes basketball player. Reflecting on her remarkable 2024 on the podcast, Clark shared with the Kelces that the year had been transformative. It is astonishing to reflect on the past year. I was just initiating my senior year. Individuals were familiar with my identity and attended our games, but not to the extent they do now. That is what renders it exciting. I also embarked on a new chapter in my life by relocating to Indianapolis, Clark articulated regarding her transition from college to the professional league. It is unlike any other professional sport. I participated in the national championships, proceeded directly to the draft, and was selected. Essentially, one relocates without even concluding their senior year in college. There is insufficient time to overanalyze the situation, but I feel I never truly finalized the chapter of my college experience. With the inception of the Unrivaled League imminent, fans remain intrigued by Angel Reese and her forthcoming interactions with one of her new teammates. Although the two athletes have minimized claims of a rivalry between themselves, Reese and Caitlin Clark remain interconnected due to their competitive encounters in the NCAA, which have now transitioned into the WNBA. This dynamic entered a new phase when it was disclosed that Reese, who will be playing for Rose BC, is set to be joined by Lexie, one of Clark's teammates with the Indiana Fever. Hull is recognized for her exceptional shooting skills, and in light of Reese's proficiency in rebounding, many observers anticipate a strong synergy between the two on the court. Why on earth would Lexie prefer to play with Angel rather than Caitlin? Is Angel going to pass the ball from the paint to Lexie standing just outside the arc? One fan expressed on social media. Another fan contrasted their playing styles by stating, "Lexie literally shoots twice as well from beyond the arc as Angel does under the rim." In spite of the critical reactions, there are individuals who are optimistic about the potential collaboration of the two players. They don't watch the Fever, it's evident. Lexie didn't start the entire season, considering averages doesn't reflect her true value, one fan commented. She's not a free agent, so she isn't going anywhere, just Angels fans being foolish again. Another fan remarked that they were not surprised the ongoing discussion between Clark and Reese would extend into the Unrivaled League.